The first control we want to explore is what we call a switch. And you have seen this in a lot of applications. So we have a state called toggled, which can be true or false. So for this demo, I have a content page, and all I have set here is the padding attribute. And this is purely to make it easier for you to see these controls. So to add a switch, we use the switch element. Here we have a property called isToggled, which we can set to true or false. We also have an event called toggled. Let's handle this event. Now, in real-world applications, you don't always have to handle this event. You would only handle it if you want to do something once the value of the switch changes. A typical use case is when you want to show or hide a part of the page based on the state of the switch. For example, you might have a bunch of settings, but they make sense only if the switch is toggled. So for this demo, I want to add a label to our page and then show or hide it based on the state of the switch. So I'm going to add a label here. Text is content. Now this could be anything. It could be a stack layout with multiple children, or it could be a list view. For this demo, we're just going to use a label. Now, because we have multiple elements on this page, we should wrap them in a layout. I'm going to use stack layout. Okay, now in the handler for the toggled event, I want to reference this label. So let's give it a name, label. Now in the code behind, I can set label.isVisible to e, which is the argument to this method, dot value. Let's look at the result. So now let me toggle the switch. Okay, look, content disappears and then appears back. Now, if showing or hiding a part of the page is all you want to do when handling the toggled event, there is a simpler way to do this. You don't necessarily have to do this programmatically. You can do it declaratively using binding expressions. So I'm going to delete this event handler. And of course, I'm going to remove this attribute as well. We don't need xname for the label either. Now, I want the label to be visible when the switch is toggled. So I can use a binding expression here. I'm going to bind isVisible property to a binding expression. Binding. Sources, we use xReference. Now we need to give this switch an identifier. So xname, let's just call it switch. Now let me put this isVisible attribute on a separate line so you can see more clearly. So here's our source, switch. And then path is toggled. So this binding expression will internally create an event handler to do the same job. Let's run the application. And we have the exact same functionality. Next, I'm going to talk about sliders.